Welcome to Cricket World TV, the latest World Cup hotspot with me, John Pennington, in a rather sunny UK, I have to say, and Chetan Arula, who's made his way out to Napier. Hello, Chetan.
Hello, John, and welcome to all our viewers on Hotspot. And yeah, Napier is sunny as well, John.
Sunny everywhere. Well, it was sunny over the weekend, wasn't it, Chetan? We had some fantastic cricket. We're going to sort of review those games and then look ahead to where you're heading to. Let's start off then, Australia, New Zealand. The game of the tournament for you?
Absolutely. When we had last discussed, I think we had talked about the possibility of two test nations or of two big nations perhaps playing a close game, and this is what happened. This is precisely what we got. 19 wickets for some 300 odd runs. 59 or something overs like that, so quite an intense game. Two best sides in the tournament so far. Australia, I thought they seemed in a bit of a rush. They were, I thought they were nervous playing in front of a 40,000 pack Eden Park. Quite a lot of noise those 40,000 people made. I felt almost like I was back in the MCG where India was still playing South Africa. And there were 87,000 people. Obviously, it's a big arena, so you need more people to make that sort of noise. But Eden Park with 40,000 was quite great as well. And David Warner was booed. Mitchell Johnson, Aaron Finch, when he was bowled, despite the fact that taken off some runs off him, quite some noise. I can't just get that noise out of my head. So to me, it seemed that Australia were flustered a bit. And that was one of those reasons, because if you look at their batting selection, the shot selection, some of the shots that they played were not proper shots that should have been played in that particular situation. They wouldn't have played in that particular situation, perhaps in any other game, in any other setting. So the batting collapse was perhaps down to being flustered by the situation, by the environment they were in. Having said that, if there was any bowling attack in this competition who could have defended that score of 150 odd, it was Australia. Mitchell Johnson again flustered. The crowd got onto his back, and Brendan McCullum firing on all cylinders, and then Martin Guptill hitting those runs. Yeah, so after that you have Mitchell Starc with his sharp in-swinging deliveries, bowling New Zealand batsmen left, right, and centre. Perhaps they needed one more bowler from the other end to bowl in the manner. I'm not going to say exert the same pressure, because they did exert that pressure. Perhaps not Mitchell Johnson, Josh Hazlewood did, but they did not. Hazlewood perhaps bowls 5 kilometers per hour too short, doesn't have those full in-swinging deliveries. And on a short ground, unless you have that bowler just banging them into your middle stump so that it's a play and miss sort of a situation, unless that happens, like Kane Williamson showed. He said after the game it was a premeditated shot. He knew if the number 11 Trent Boult got any more deliveries, there would be a danger. He premeditated, I'm going to hit it. He hit it straight boundary. Not at all big. Last time around I was there at Eden Park for the Indian tour. The wall of the stadium was the boundary. This year, because of the World Cup and you have so many sponsors and you have those ad boards, it's been pulled in further. Can you believe that? It's a ridiculous boundary as it is. It's been pulled in further. So yeah, you just need if you're desperate for some runs at Eden Park, just go straight. Kane Williamson did that, and that was the end of the game. But what a game. It showed us that both these sides are equally matched. Their batting orders are equally frail. Their bowling prowess is equally strong. So equally matched teams. I am sure that we're going to see Australia versus New Zealand again in this tournament.
Yes, I think we might well do. I mean, New Zealand, that's twice now that they've had modest targets and they've lost a fair few wickets in getting there. Is that a cause for concern, or they sort of try and say, look, that's our strategy, we're going to try and get the runs as quickly as possible, and that's how we're going to win games?
I think it's a mixed bag. I think that's what they're trying to do, because against Australia there was no need to do that. Against Scotland also there was no. They went like that. They lost a few wickets and then they thought, okay, now let's just slow down. And once they slow down, they lost a few more wickets. So it was just it was just not working for them against Scotland. For Australia, no, sorry, against Australia, it was the same thing. Brendan McCullum just set the tempo, and we also have to consider the fact that against Australia they had that innings break, and you had some wickets off the first balls, and Mitchell Starc banging them in on your middle stump. So it was a bit of a play and miss thing on either side of the break. So obviously they will not be happy. It is perhaps their one big weakness that they're prone to such collapses, because in the knockouts you're not going to get another chance. That's for sure. So maybe it will be a bit of concern going ahead, but yeah, I think the Scotland match was an aberration, and the Australia game, it was some great bowling from Mitchell Starc, cannot be denied. Whether is there another team that can do the same to New Zealand? Yeah, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, certainly. Let's move on then. The next game on Saturday was India against the United Arab Emirates, and a very comfortable 9-wicket win for India. All the boxes ticked really for me. Rohit Sharma got some runs, Ashwin bowled very well and got some wickets. So everything that India wanted out of that they got, I think, didn't they?
Absolutely. For me, the key was in that game was just one thing: whether India can continue to be whether India can continue to be as intense as they were in the first two games. That's what they did. That's what they achieved. Which was a good point, because these games can be a bit of a slippery case. West Indies is going to be another test, because I think I for one would like Chris Gayle to go ballistic, Marlon Samuels to go ballistic on the Indian bowlers, because so far it's all worked to a plan. What happens when it doesn't? And in the World Cup, there will be some point where it won't, and we've seen over the past year that that's how the Indian team, where the Indian bowlers have cracked under pressure when they have been put under pressure. So yeah, before the knockouts, if there is one match that can put them under pressure, it's perhaps this one. So yeah, let's have West Indies go ballistic. Also, we can forget that West Indies in the next game will be looking for a qualification. India have more or less, they just, even if they lose to West Indies, they can still beat Ireland and Zimbabwe and qualify as top of the group. So for West Indies, it's a little more closer with Ireland and Pakistan in convention. So it'll be an interesting game. But for now, India have ticked all the boxes. They'll be sleeping very nicely.
They certainly will. Unlike England, of course, who were thumped in the end by Sri Lanka. I mean, I watched about an hour or two of England's first innings. I thought we looked quite good. Ian Bell, actually put some pressure back on Sri Lanka. Moeen Ali batted quite nicely. Then I went to bed. I think then you arrived at the stadium, and it all went wrong for England, and Sri Lanka chased down 309 for the loss of 1 wicket. I mean, just talk about your views on that one.
Yeah, it's not right to blame England's horrific show on my appearance at the ground. I mean, come on.
No, I'm joking.
No, obviously. What I meant was, I think this match gave them the perfect template as to how their batting lineup should score in the ODIs. You need to have a decent start, and then you need to have somebody at 3 or 4 player beginnings, or perhaps both 3 and 4 player beginnings. And from there, once you have, they got 100 runs in the last 10 overs. When was the last time England scored 100 runs in the last 10 overs of an ODI innings? I don't remember. I don't think anybody in the English side remembers. So in that particular sense, it was the perfect batting template, and yet you had Gary Balance at number 3 failing, and James Taylor batting at number 6. It just seemed so futile from James Taylor, that he's there at number 6, he's scoring those runs, and it's pointless. He could score those same runs at number 3, and he could, instead of scoring 25 or 25, he could score 75 or 75, and England would probably get a score of 350, which is not chaseable, not easily chaseable, as easily as Sri Lanka made 310 look. So it's a very, very rigid thinking from the English team management, and I know how they're going to think. They're going to think, okay, our batting did well, it's only our bowling that did not click, so let's continue to play Gary Balance at number 3. That's how they're going to think. That's not how they should think. The problem is the next two sides are, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. And the Bangladesh game is a must-win game. Bangladesh have one more point than England, which is absurd. And if Bangladesh just wake up on the day and they can just challenge England, anything is possible. For right now, this English team is not looking very good. Not It's low on confidence. They don't know what really it's bothering them. Everybody knows what's bothering them. They don't know what's bothering them, and it's a bit of a disappointment because they showed some good spirit and some good form in the Tri Series. And I mentioned that because James Taylor batted at number 3 in that Tri Series. So, like I said, everybody knows what's wrong. They don't know what's wrong, and if they continue to behave this way, I think England are not going to make the quarterfinals, which would be a huge, huge disaster.
It would. You're spot on there, Chetan. Gary Balance, he's a good player, but he's in no form. Therefore, having James Taylor 3 makes perfect sense. The other problem you've got Owen Morgan not in great form. When they get 27 or 50 balls, that was 20 balls that Joss Buttler could have used up, and then, as you say, could have been well on course for 320, 330, 340. But a word on Sri Lanka, because they seem to just be nicely improving as this tournament goes on. Kumar Sangakkara, Dilshan in great form as well. Even if perhaps there's a question mark or two over the bowlers, Herath's picked up an injury as well.
Yeah, Sri Lanka do that. Sri Lanka have always been able to do that. They haven't performed really well in the New Zealand tour, but they have just kicked up a couple of notches from there. They've got batsmen who's scoring hundreds. Chetan got 100. Sangakkara has now got 200s. I don't think there's any stopping him. I think he's here on a mission. I'm not sure Sri Lanka are any sort of favourites for the title. I think they're perhaps just above, I don't know, or maybe just below Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and India at the moment. At the start of the tournament, I would have put them at par with India, but now with India's bowling performing very well, they've just stolen a march. India's fielding is also a couple of notches higher than Sri Lanka's. Sri Lanka need to get their bowling sorted. That's been the problem. I mean, if England can score 300 runs against 2, that means there's something wrong with your bowling. England, when I say England, I mean a batting order which is not really perfect, a batting order which is not really prone to hitting out, a batting order which scores 100 runs in the last 10 overs on rare occasions. So if they can get 300 against you in 50 overs, then that's a problem, because there are better batsmen, better batting lineups in this World Cup, and sooner or later Sri Lanka are going to face them. As things stand, they are scheduled to play South Africa in the quarterfinal, and that's not going to be easy. So they really need to get their bowling in order. Australia is going to be a huge test for that, because if they can get their bowling in order, then if they can get their bowling in order and they can beat Australia, then they can finish second in their group, which makes things a lot more easier for them. And then Australia plays South Africa, which is again a troublesome tie. But there are still a lot of permutations and combinations to go. But the bottom line for Sri Lanka right now is improve your bowling.
Certainly is, and the other game of the weekend, of course, Zimbabwe against Pakistan. For quite a long way through this match, Zimbabwe looked as if they were going to be on course for victory. But do you think there's a sense that this was one that got away from them as Pakistan got off the mark in the end?
Yeah, I think so. I think Pakistan's bowling, it's not the same fear-inducing or awe-inducing bowling as it used to be, but on the day when it turns up, it's still quite good. And it's taken them 3 matches. 3 matches to turn up, and I think now they have turned up. I think they've found some sort of semblance of form, some I would say consistency in the bowling. I thought Mohammad Irfan bowled a really good spell in this match. The problem for Pakistan, as always, continues to be their batting, and I still cannot believe Misbah-ul-Haq is getting criticism for the innings that he played. I mean, that guy, yeah, he should just kill himself, I suppose, because he's not going to get any admiration from anyone. It's just so sad and depressing that, there are people who are criticizing him for playing 20 extra dot balls. I mean, come on. He took you to 200 plus, he took you to 230. I mean, what more can he do? I mean, do you want him, like I said, what do you want him to do? It's that sort of a thing. So, yeah, that criticism from Misbah-ul-Haq doesn't subside, and like I said, tomorrow we have Pakistan versus UAE. At the moment, South Africa, Ireland is poised in a way that Ireland's run rate is going to take a beating, and it's in a way it's the lifeline that's been thrown for Pakistan and they need to make it count, especially against the UAE, because the next match after that against South Africa, it's not going to be an easy one.
And that's absolutely right, Chetan. And yes, I think this ball, when he came to the crease, or when he was at the tail of Wahab Rios, they said, look, we just got to get to 50 overs, and that turned out to be the right decision, because had they gone all guns blazing, 180 all out, you have to think Zimbabwe would have won that one. So I agree entirely with what you say about the criticism. He seems to be criticised for criticism's sake sometimes, which isn't particularly fair. You mentioned there are a couple of games that Pakistan have got coming up, and those are games that you're going to be attending, Pakistan, UAE. I mean, they're off the mark now. UAE obviously will want to hit back after that very poor performance against Ireland, but Pakistan, they have to be too strong for UAE, don't they? This has to be another win for them.
Absolutely, I don't think there is any doubt that Pakistan need to win this game, because, like I said, their next match they play South Africa on a small Eden Park. And A.B. de Villiers, if he ever had a shot at making 200, Saturday, 200 alert. I'm telling you, against Pakistan, if the bowlers don't turn up, 200 alert, 200 alert. For Pakistan, this is do or die, and this is when they play well. I expect they will turn up in the right frame of mind tomorrow. If not, UAE are dangerous enough to make them pay.
Yeah, so we'll both go for Pakistan winning that one, and maybe de Villiers up to scoring 200. He'll pick the ball up and take some more World Cup wickets. He got one earlier, didn't he, against Ireland? What about South Africa, Pakistan? In which way do you see that one going? I'm assuming you're going to say South Africa are going to win, but just checking.
South Africa are going to win, along with an A.B. de Villiers double 100.
Good stuff. Well, Chetan, thank you very much for your time today. I'm going to go with the South Africa win as well, for what it's worth, but we'll catch up as the tournament goes on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
And thank you very much for watching us here on Cricket World TV. Goodbye for now.